All right, good morning. And yes, this morning we have Mr. Titus Udom in the building. He's streaming live from the United Kingdom and he's going to be sharing on my intentional parenting journey. Who else is excited today? Because I am. It's so good to be back here. And yes, it's been awesome watching the others share different aspects of their journey. I am particularly excited today. At least we have a Yada father who is going to be sharing and telling us what is happening in the I like Yada fathers a lot. Of course, they know that they have a mansion in heaven with me, specially created by God. And if that makes you angry, that's your business. Alrighty. So yes, we are going to be doing this today with Dr. Titus Udom, and he will be sharing different aspects of his journey. Get ready for it. It's going to be very, very interesting. Have you been following my intentional parenting journey? How long have you followed this journey? How long have you been here? Let me see your comment in the comment section. Welcome here, sir. Let's just get at it. So, sir, how did you get to know about the yard? How did you get into the inner circle? I would really, really, really love to hear this story. Of course,
Interesting. All right. So,
yes.
Wendy, first of all, thank you for this opportunity to share my own experience in the inner cycle, as we call it. Yeah. So it's been a great experience of interacting with you, your cohort, and then the other parents. Over this maybe like 9 months or thereabout now. Yeah. So I mean, a family friend. Invited me, he shared with me that she's a member. But I think I've watched you one or twice casually on YouTube. And so when she mentioned it, I was able to connect with it. And then I decided to join because parenting is very close to me, is something that I really must do because it's a task that must be done. So I didn't hesitate to join when she invited me. And I think it's been worth the while over these months.
Amazing. Can you even know? Do you even know that Dr. Titus is a first time yard? Right? This is the first time in the yard. It's been, awesome. But tell me, sir, what was the thing that what was that thing that struck you when you got into the yard? What was that one thing that you would say, oh, okay, I think I'm in the right place?
Okay, so for me, like I shared briefly in my uh, video I did some time ago. So I just look at the structure, the discipline, and the enormous resources that are available in the yard, So I just felt, oh, this is the right place to be, right? Yeah, I mean, there's so
Awesome.
much to learn. Yeah, and then I look at the way you have organized it, your journey over these years. I feel you have a lot to offer, and that's why I just felt okay. Yeah, it's the right place to be.
Awesome, awesome. The structure. People often talk about the structure, and I also think that that's one thing that sometimes can unsettle some people as well. While some people love it, some people actually get in and say everything is like regiment, everything is somehow strict. You have to share at this time, you have to do this like this, and all of that. But that's what keeps the inner circle to what it is that it is. And that's also what builds the discipline around what it is that we do. Now, let's get to the nitty gritty. Tell us, sir, what has the inner circle done for you in these 9 months? What are the things that your journey, tell us about your parenting, where you were before now, where you are now, and if there are changes, the things that have changed, and why that is so. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so very much. So for me, uh, I've always tried to make sure I connect with my children. So we do a lot of things together. We play together, we plan together, we pray together, and then but I was just doing these things without really seeing the end game, the structure. So when you talk about connecting activities, yes, we do it every year. We set out planning, we go out, relax. I kind of give my children opportunity to have a say in the family. So when we have a family meeting once in a while, so that's why I'm talking about the structure. So I didn't have a plan, okay, we're going to do it every month. It just, when I have time, I said, okay, let's do it. So, but when I came into the yard, I now saw the need to be more organized, and like the academy name implies, be more intentional in what we were doing, right? And of course, uh, I've taken a lot of personal motivation in the way you have carried out the activities in the academy, right? I've personally been challenged because, like I said, there are three things I pick out from the academy. One is the personal development or competence of the parents, developing the capacity of parents to parent. The next are the connection tools. And then the other one is the community that we're building, where you can find resources, you find people you can connect with. Yeah.
I think I love these three things, right? Dr. Titus said these three things are his core in the
Yeah.
academy: the community, the connection to, and the personal development of the parent. I think the community will be one of the best things that I love about the inner circle myself. There's something about the community, there's something about being able to find resources. And I mean, like Dr. Titus said, human resources, other resources, you can find anything. All you need to do is come to the yard and say, I'm looking for this. You find somebody who will find somebody who will find somebody who actually just has it. I remember that a few days ago, I was having some issues with my line, and I just needed somebody who worked in MTN. And I thought, oh, circle, come on now. And I just made an announcement. I said, is there anybody who works in MTN? Oh, you don't want to know how I was barraged with the number of people who work for MTN. And I was like, okay, the inner circle is a place where you have, I call it collective intelligence, that community thing. Apart from the fact that you have people who actually are able to, get what you need in the yard, there is also a collection of intelligence that you bring to bear. Smart people from everywhere, who can teach you so much. I have personally learned a lot from the yard myself. There are some things that you put down. You must see someone who is an expert in it, who actually detailed to you what it is that thing is about. I remember one time we're having a conversation about MSGs used in Maggi and all of that, and I do not have any information in quotes. I'm not knowledgeable in that. A particular year that took her time. She's been told, she's a nutritionist, explained, in fact, told us it was so awesome. Interestingly, that was where I made the decision to actually stop, eating, cooking with those things. And, and I started looking for alternatives, honestly.
Yeah.
And I started looking for alternatives. She talked about alternatives, talked about what you can get, talked about, and I was wowed, like wowed. So, when people say, oh, you just come to learn parenting, but, I like the way Dr. Titus put it. You come for personal development. There's something about your person that develops off from the, the things that there is and all of that. So, sir, since connection tool is one of your anchors, can you name one connection tool in the yard that had a profound effect on your journey since this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to mention all the connection tools, but like I've said, uh, having that family meeting. So, like in my family, every Friday, we call it a day for bonding. So is that we play, we watch movie, we learn, we pray together. So when I came into the yard, I now also see you reinforcing it. So I now say, okay, yeah. So that what I was doing was actually right. Because you do something, you think, maybe I'm alone in what I'm doing, but when you see other people doing it, you now reinforce what you were actually doing. So there are a lot of things that you have shared with us almost every day. In fact, I must say that it's even difficult for me as a person to catch up with all of them. So I'm still trying to learn, I'm still trying to implement, but like playing with the children is so vital, because you can pay the school fees, you can do any other thing, but that time, because when we look at the parenting style of God in Genesis chapter 1 and 2, God had time with Adam and Eve. He had presence, he had a presence. Of course, he made provision for them, and then of course he gave them precepts. So I have learned through my experience parenting, and of course what I've also learned in the inner circle, to create time for the children, because that's what they value the most. Yeah. So having that time, whatever you're going to do together, you're going out, you're playing, you're planning, just stay with them. Because oftentimes I've been accused of my children, Daddy, you don't have time. Sometimes I'm working in the office, my daughter will come, Daddy, can I get this? It's like I'm not listening, because I'm always focused, kind of. But I have learned that whatever you're doing, you may even have to stop it to attend to them, because by the time you go back, you may not have that opportunity again, right? So one of the greatest things I've learned in this inner cycle is actually creating time for the children amidst all other activities.
Awesome. I think the insight about God the Father blew me away. When you were saying that the God the Father had time for the children, like for Adam and Eve. I'm like, that's actually true. He had time to come down to actually talk with them, the Bible recorded. As
Sure.
in, that's God, though. As in, that's God. And I don't think any of us are busier than God, right? No matter how busy we are, we cannot match God with his activities. It's totally impossible. I think that any time that you want to make an excuse about being busy, maybe you can remember this aspect of the scripture that Dr. Titus mentioned today. God actually was present, even
Yeah.
though he had provided everything for Adam and Eve. Come on now. Every provision was made, but God was still felt that, see, I need to talk with them. I need to calm down. I need to be there. And I think it's very a lot common with fathers, right? I think socialization, I think upbringing, I think a lot of things actually, and then work. I think the fact that many men are saddled with provision. So there's a lot of line missed. When you actually get to that point, you just want to just all you just think is, let me just make provision for this family and just not think about any other thing. But sir, how have you been able to? You are a man, you are a father who has been able to parent. How old are your children, sir?
Okay, so my daughter is 17, the young boy in the middle is 15, and the young girl will be 13 next month. So very soon I'm going to be having three teenagers in the house, So
All right.
that's another learning strategy I need to adopt. So
Exactly.
talking about creating time,
Yes, sir.
we have to learn from others, because I've seen people who have been busy without creating balance. So for me, creating balance in my life is critical on the four pillars. The four
Mm,
pillars of faith, the pillar of your fitness, the pillar of finance, and of course the pillar of family. If anything shifts out of these four, then you are in deep trouble. You can make all
mm,
the money, but if your family is out of shape, then it's going to come back to bite you later on in life.
mm,
So I make sure
mm.
that in the midst of faith, spiritual activity, looking for money, I need to make sure I make time for my family. Is number one. Is absolutely critical.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
So you're
It
asking how do I make time for them?
Yes, what do you do practically? How have you been able to actually see yourself in that space? I know that is a mindset, But what are the practical things you've been able to do to get yourself to the point where you see, this thing is my job and I just need to do it? What are the things that you now have to do to be able to get you in that place? I'm sure there are a lot of fathers who are thinking, this thing is hard. I cannot finish providing and I'm still trying to play with a child. It's not, let them go and play with their mother. How have you been able to do it practically? That would also, give you a lot of insight to a lot of the listeners.
Yeah, so everything starts with priority, right? I tell people if something is important, you will find time for it. If something is less important, you're going to find an excuse not to do it. And those excuses may look valid, right? Yeah, okay, I'm busy, I'm a top executive and all this. Yeah, but at the end, will those excuses be tenable? So for me, so like I am at home, everybody is gone out to work, my wife is gone out, children that have gone out to school. So we come back, we stay together during that evening. So I have a time to chat with them. How was your school? What made you happy today? And one thing we do, so in the evening, of course, we have evening fellowship where we really have time. I know in the morning, we just do quick family devotion and then people go. But in the evening, we kind of relax. And one thing we do is that, okay, how was your day? Tell us about your day. So everybody, 5 of us, we sit down together. You're going to tell me, okay, these are the things that made my day. These are the things that I wasn't so happy about it. I didn't perform at this level. So we just share together, we counsel, and then we take it to the Lord in prayer. We go to bed. Over the weekend is a time of also staying together, apart from maybe we have some other activity. In Saturday morning, we have extensive time of Bible study where we review our Sunday school for Sunday. So we just sit down and have a deep time of Bible study. So that's also a time of bonding together. And of course, Sunday, no other activity. We can go out, visit people, and then we just like going out as a family, really. Go to the park, just relax, we eat out. So all these things, building memories. At times I also like taking pictures a lot, videos. So my phone is loaded. I had to buy extra terabyte from Apple, So my children will look at those memories, times we spent together. I mean, it's really refreshing. So these are some of the ways that I just find time to be with the family, morning, evening, and over the weekend.
Awesome. I love what Dr. Titus said. He said, if anything is important to you, you will make out time for it. I often say that the excuses they are not going to produce any result. It doesn't matter how much excuses that we make, right? And like we say in the yard, excuses are cheap. Those that make them are not wise. So you can actually continue to make excuses. You can actually continue to say to yourself, I cannot, I don't know how, I don't know, I'm not going to be able to, and all of that. Because some people actually reach out and say, this parenting, I have a lot going on, and I still need to attend the parenting class. So you have older children and you have found it relevant to actually still continue to learn. Is it a socialization that men are not very quick to learning, or is it a personal thing? I want to have an understanding. Maybe that will help us today, actually the men that are watching us and also listening to us. Over to you, sir.
So when you say men are not quick to learn, what do you mean?
So you find in the inner circle, for instance, sir, we are more women than we are men. So when it comes to parenting, men are not very quick to actually jump in to say, this parenting thing is my work. I think many men, not most, actually will tell you that it's none of their business. They just want to go and make money, and their wives can actually learn. In fact, I have met men who meet me and say, wow, you're doing such an amazing job. I want to pay for my wife to be in the inner circle. And I'm like, okay, what happened to you, sir? As in, you're not supposed to be in the inner circle. And then I start the talk again, and then we go over and over. Is there something that we need to do specifically? Is there something is there a teaching that needs to happen for fathers to actually begin to get an understanding that parenting is their job as well?
Yeah, I mean, so something happened one day. So I took my children to an event in their school, and I wanted to go back home, midway. It's okay. Let me go and attend to some business activity. And my son told me, okay, Daddy, you can go, but give us your ATM. I mean, that was a shock for me. So what am I? Am I just like an ATM to these people?
Ah!
Like, so I mean, so that was a mind shift for me. So you guys can go ahead, have fun or whatever, and then let me just go and be looking for money. So unfortunately, that is the life of many men.
Mm,
Parenting is not a one-person affair, and that's why
mm,
God set up the institution of marriage, right? In Genesis chapter 2, and after creation, they say, okay, Adam should not be alone. One person cannot, how do I put it, rightly bring up a child. I mean, that's why it would have been possible for God to make Adam to be pregnant or one way or the other, but he knew that you need two people to do this job. So you cannot leave it for one person.
mm-mm,
So for me, is a task that I'm the one that brought my wife to the inner circle, right? I
mm,
registered, I invited her, and then she joined, right? Because I have seen children who were not properly mentored and parented, the outcome. And I don't want that to happen to me. I have just 3 children.
mm,
It's just like my life ambition, because what shall it profit me if I make the money, I enjoy life, and then my children are not able to, continue the legacy? Like you said, it's a legacy. My children, they have to do better than myself, because they have
mm-hmm,
better opportunity. Like Paul will say, you have a better covenant, better
mm,
promises. So they have better everything. I grew up in the village, without all that they have now. So why should they not do better? So
mm,
it's like an investment. I cannot allow my investment to rot, right?
mm,
Of course, I'm not saying they should come and take care of me. No,
mm.
I'm not training them so that
Of
you come
course.
and, God forbid that you come and be giving me food later in life. So
Mm,
I should be able to take care of myself and my wife. So for me, it's a top priority, and more so, I love learning, right? So I grew up without having very good, not even having, I didn't attend the best of schools, really, having all the teachers and all that. So more to a large extent, I was self-taught. So I love learning, and whatever I am today is by learning, is by the grace of God. So every opportunity to learn, I'm always very open to it. So I think that's what is also driving me.
hmm. Amazing, amazing. You know, that story that you shared about what your son said um, was very, very profound. You know, I saw a video recently. A father was ranting that he asked the children while they were going to school and turned to them and said, "Oh, who pays your school fees?" They say, "Mommy." "Who buys you your clothes?" They say, "Mommy." "Who is there?" They said, "Mommy." Everything was mommy. Those children were about 7, 8, and say he just thought of it. Actually, these children can't see me. Who brings you from school is mommy. Daddy, you are not always around. You are always working. This kind, they were literally telling this, father that, see, you don't really exist to us. You are like a visiting father. You are like, you appear whenever it is that you choose to. So there's this thing that you see, I will do it at my time. Of course, this kind, you are not, they can't see you inconveniencing yourself to actually be there. I know, like Dr. Titus said, The truth of the matter is, if you get to the point where your children just see you as an ATM machine, like in that case where they just see you as a money producer, otilo, like they say in my
It's
husband's
gone.
village. Otilo, finally. Because the children don't see you, they can't connect with you. The only thing you are to them is a provider. And if that is where the only position you are in as a father, then of course, there's going to actually be a lot of disconnect. And that's why in our generation also, most of our fathers, actually, we have a disconnect with them, right? Because they provided, yes, they tried their best, yes, but that connection was lost. I love to see intentional fathers. It gets me excited. And maybe because I had one, it gets me really, really excited to see involved fathers. Fathers who are strapping their boots and actually doing the work. Right? Dr. Titus said, I brought my wife to the inner circle. When you hear of the inner circle as a man, don't be thinking, let me go and pay for my wife so that my wife will be inside and she will be doing the work. Those are the kind of things that I hear, and I'm like, what happened to you? I would rather prefer that you register and leave your wife, honestly speaking, because men are actually, there's something about when a man is involved in parenting. There are a lot of advantages. So when you were talking, you talked about the place, the scripture where you were saying it's not a for one person. You found out that when you do it together, you struggle less. That's the truth. You
Sure.
struggle less.
Yeah.
You have less to struggle with. You have, is it that this person can be busy, the other person picks up? Because that happens to me and God a lot. One person is busy, the other person is picking up the slack. Another person is picking up the slack because you guys are working as a team. God didn't create parenting for solo making.
No,
That's the
no.
truth. God didn't create parenting. It doesn't matter what the circumstances of your solo parenting is today. The original creation of God is that parenting will be done together. And that's why Mary could have given birth to Jesus Christ alone. But God the Father thought of it. See, the representation of the family that God has in mind, right, is a family, a father and a mother. Yes, I know that quite a number of people here are listening and saying, but there is no father. What do we do? Yes, I understand absolutely. If you find yourself in those situations, they are not the standard. It doesn't mean you can't win, but they are not the standard. That's not what it is that God made it to be. Now, when there are deviations, God still makes provision for mercy. Yes, God does. But the standard of how God created it is that this is the way it should be, right? That is the standard. Thank you again. You're listening to Dr. Titus Udom all the way from United Kingdom. Thank you so much for joining us again. He is a Yada father who has three teenagers. Sir, today I want you to share with us, do you have any parenting mistake that you have made or something that happened and how you were able to use your wealth of knowledge to correct it with what it is that you have learned so far?
Yeah, I mean, yelling. That I mean that I would say is one of my weak points. Because before now I'll just shout. Over here in the UK, the parenting style is different. In fact, you cannot spank, you cannot, so I was like, the only tool I had was my mouth, kind of. So so that so that caused that book, how to overcome yelling. So which I read, I think that was one of the ones I presented. So it brought the consciousness to me that, come on,
Mm.
the yelling does not actually solve a problem. And my daughter would tell me, Daddy, this your shouting is not having any effect to so I realized they love everybody, and every child love to be respected,
Mm.
because they're intelligent. You call them and speak to them. So what I've learned is that, like the other day I went out with my son, so I was asking him, when you have your own child, how would you want to bring up your own child? I was trying to put him in my own position so that he will understand all that I'm trying to do for him. It's for his own good.
Mm,
So yeah,
mm,
he came up with the brilliant ideas. I will set time for them to study. I will reward them. I'll make sure that they are doing very well. I said, okay, now this is what you are planning to do for your own child. You are just 15 now. You have such a brilliant idea. It's the same thing I'm trying to do for you. You understand? So when you talk to children like that, it shows that you respect them. It shows that you care. It shows that you are also planning for them. So they see that what you're doing is for their own good. So one of the things I do is that once in a while I'll just go out with one of them. So we'll just go to the park, go for a walk. So along the line, we'll just be talking, we'll just be, confessing as father and daughter and father and son. So in a relaxed environment, go take a drink, just relax in the park. So I see that as really useful. So I will actually encourage parents to do it. And
mm.
in those occasions, I've seen that they open up the more. So they'll tell you, Daddy, that's why I'm doing this. I also now begin to understand from their own teenage perspective. You understand? So that's some of the things I've learned. Stop yelling, but try to speak wisdom and reason to them, because they are smart, they are wise. They have also now begin to have that understanding. So we are mutually understanding ourselves better.
Awesome, awesome. I had a father who yelled, so I can relate when you said, yelling was a problem. And of course, when you yelled and yell and yell and yell, and when we're young, and we just used to look at our father like, what's wrong with you? As in, must you actually just be screaming like a mad person? But of course, you see that some of these reflective things, like you said, you get to a place, you think that that's the only tool I have. Let me Kuku be yelling so that at least they can hear me. Unfortunately, they cannot hear you. And of course, Dr. Titus was talking about from yelling to calm. I guess I want to believe that that will be your best book in Inner Circle. Is that
Yes,
true?
yes, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, be your
Yeah,
best book in the Inner Circle. I didn't even need to ask that question.
that's it.
But sir, tell me how the Inner Circle have had effect in your business. I know that you are the founder of Innovation Academy and Anchor Christian School. And I want to know, has it had any effect in the way that you do things, your business? Has it had any effect on your relationship with others? You've talked about your relationship with children, how, the tools you've learned have been able to actually help you and improve you. How about your marriage and also your business or whatever it is that you do as a person? Over to you, sir.
All right. Everything is about relationship. Whatever you're doing is about relationship, is about communication. Uh, because somebody said, even let's start with business. You want to make money. You
Mm,
want people to give you the money you're looking for is actually in somebody's pocket. So
mm,
it now depends what service, what product, what value are you giving to people so that they'll be able to exchange that with their money, right? So in the Innovation Academy, so we found that we try to build skill. It in the last conference, TIP conference. So I think the speaker that talk about this, the skill that children should have, and
yes.
I discovered that there's some things that are missing in the school curriculum. Uh, skill of financial literacy,
Mm,
ICT, and speaking communication. So I thought about that as okay. I think I need to develop this in my children. So I took it upon to teach them finance. So I'm a financial expert, and then I also
oh,
invited other people to teach my children speaking and all that. And then other parents bought it. So that was the birth of the Innovation Academy sometime in 2020 during COVID, right? So and then we started rolling out courses. It I must say that's one of the advantages I've gained by being a member of the Inner Circle, because I've had parents who have joined, I mean, registered their children in the academy, and then we have created relationship. They have found value in what we're doing, and they're also referring us to other parents. I mean, I'm always very grateful for joining the intentional parenting, and deeply grateful to you, because they form the bulk of the parents that I have on the academy. I mean, yadas, because these are people of like mind. It's
Yes.
just like where you are, it shows that you are like the people where you belong. You're in a particular church, you're like-minded, you belong to a group, you're like-minded. So these are people that value education and training and skill acquisition for their own children, and it was easy for them to buy into what we're doing. So I must really
Awesome.
say thank you. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, star. That's really awesome. And like like we always say, everything is in the yard. Everything is in the yard. Your business, the blossom, we always say that. I was telling someone, I said, even if you sell plantain chips, you get into the yard, you connect with people, you will sell more than you can ever imagine. That's the truth. Because we're constantly, in fact, I know talking about plantain chips, there's a yarder who makes plantain chips. In fact, it's so bad that I know yarders who order her plantain chips from Abuja and ship it down to Lagos. I'm one of them. It's that bad. And these are the things that you actually, so apart from coming that we're coming to do parenting, there's a whole lot that happens in the inner circle as well, where you actually get to meet people of like mind. I love that word, like mind. Edith Major has said 80% of my business is in the yard. That's how we roll. It is system made for the yarders by yarders to yarders. That's how we roll inside here. We're not looking for what is lost outside of this community. Everything we're looking for, we actually will usually find it here. Sir, tell me about your marriage. Has the inner circle had profound effects on your marriage so far?
Yeah, so like I said, the four pillars I talked about earlier on of faith, fitness, finance, and family. Family is key. I I don't know how people survive it if they don't have good relationship with their wives.
Hmm.
So for me, I see, I can't even sleep if I have any issue with my wife. I have to jump up front, apologize. Do you understand? So
Hmm.
in the house, they know me. If you said anything you did, okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry to my children, to my wife. So I mean, because my head is full. I don't want anything that will disturb me. So I just apologize up front. So men, we take all the blame and all that. So it's okay. You take the blame. So for me, being in the inner circle, one of the things that has done is that learning together with my wife has been great for me. Learning the same thing, hearing the same thing, it has helped in our child training, in our relationship. Some of the things you also share, your personal modeling, your relationship with the governor and all that. So I also learn from it, because there's nothing as good as being one. The Bible said the two shall be one. One in everything, one in learning. I don't know
Hmm.
how, like some people, the husband belongs this way, maybe to another church, the wife this way, they're hearing different things. I've heard of people Sunday morning, they is quarrel because this one wants the child to come to this church, this other one wants the child to go to this other one. You understand? So being together has actually helped us, especially in the area of learning these tools, and then helping us to also pass it on to the children.
Awesome, awesome. Being together has helped us to actually learn a lot and then to pass it on. I love when Dr. Titus said, I want peace. This guy, please don't come and stress me. I did something, no problem. Please let me apologize and move on. My head cannot take it. I think that people who create, if you're actually a creator, right, one of the things that you would love is to have your peace. As in, let's just have peace, please. There's no need for all this rancor and all this back and forth. And like he said he doesn't understand how people just live with their spouse and there's no peace. Find peace, right? And when you were saying about what you were saying about learning together is so true. It's so easy to connect with somebody you learn with. All right. It's so easy for you are doing something, you're learning something with them. You are there's an understanding. I've realized that even for others, when I do stuff with others, there's a lot of understanding that is underlining. You don't need to explain certain things a lot. So it's just, they get it. So imagine that being with your spouse just gets it. Like we actually say in my house, my daughter says, "Oh, mommy, daddy just gets it." As in, he just gets it. So that is it's so easy when you're learning with somebody. And of course, if you're a father, a parent, whoever is listening to me, that's your key, step of action. All right. Even if your spouse is not joining with you, start with yourself first. And I'm sure that when you do, your spouse is going to see what it is that is happening, and they will begin to actually look at things differently. That said, sir, the webinars you have encountered in the inner circle, do you remember any of them? What are these? What are the webinars that have made the most impact in your journey so far?
Yeah, I mean, so I must confess that there is so much to learn. It's even difficult to catch up on everything, right? So, but the one that sticks to my head is about the financial literacy for children,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, a finance man, sir.
Yes. So when you talk about the mindset and the mind shift about money, and I see the way you go about it. Some people have a wrong mindset about money. Yeah, the love of money is the root of all evil. So they're even careful. I don't want to get too much so that I will not backslide and all that, you know. But you say you teach your children money because money is a defense, money is a tool. Yeah,
Yep.
because if you're poor, what shall it profit you? You're going to live a miserable life, really.
Mm,
So they need to teach our children about money. That, of course, the mindset that you're not going to allow money to rule over you, but you're going to also have control over money. And going back to Genesis chapter 13, the Bible says Abraham was very rich in
mm.
silver and gold and in cattle. That's it. So it is established. And I mean, you say you're not ashamed about it, right? And I've seen that has not entered your head, right? You're still doing what you're doing. And for me, of course, teaching children to be financially independent, it should be a goal for every parent, and knowing that the world has also changed, right?
Mm.
you know so I think that was quite instructive for me, building foundation for these children, to be financially independent in the future. I think that webinar also like struck a chord in my head. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. See how Dr. Titus picked the one that is, his core. This is the one that is my core. And that's the beauty about the inner circle. It's a buffet. And of course, you come there, you sometimes what is even one thing that appeals to you in the year. The next year, you now find another thing and say, okay, let me start working on this thing. But it's a buffet. The inner circle meets you at where it is that you are at time. That session was taken by Coach Kwemeka, and when we're reading his book, Raising Financially Literate Children, it's always a game changer. And like you were saying, Doc, there's something about our upbringing and money. There's something that it did to us. Now we are now learning money wrongly also. I think that most of us are now learning more money in a wrong way. Is it that you blow or nothing? That's also the other extreme that we need to really correct. So we are not teaching the proper money process. Then, young people are just learning the blow mentality thing. And either way, we're not being profited, right? So raising awareness for financially literate people, literate children, it's an important aspect, especially in these times. In this time where fast money has become a thing, in these times where in our time we were scared of money. In this time, they want the fast money and they want it whichever way that they can get it. I saw a video yesterday, and that video was a young man of maybe about my son's age. My son is 15 going to 16, and he was spraying money on his dad for on the birthday. And I mean, huge amount of money. Money, how Nigerians can be with money. And then, money that was in a pot of money, so to say. There was money everywhere. That thing cannot be less than 5M. There was money everywhere. The father was literally swimming inside the money. And it was birthday. And the guy was, very excited at the father, I mean. And I said to myself, this father has failed the son. And many of the times we fail our children in so many ways without even knowing that we actually have failed our children. And that kind of thing was recorded on social media and then it was posted. And why it was posted is another conversation altogether. But why a 50, I'm imagining my 50-year-old now bringing money and spraying me like Ayo like this. We bring money like this, Ayo Lua like this. Spray me that amount of money. And I'm laughing and recording and I'm excited. Like, are you kidding me? All right. So this is very, very important. The aspect of money. Now, Dr. Titus had only chosen one part to share with you. There are many aspects of the inner circle that you don't even...
Of course, I mean, you cannot say it all. So the other aspect, the other aspect is your personal modeling. So I've learned a lot from you personally. The consistency, the discipline. I'll still talk about the structure of managing these affairs over these years. It takes a lot of discipline, a lot of deep thinking. I would say a lot of sacrifice also. Like talk about the webinar and the seminars. There's something you said that your life shifted the day you dropped the phone and picked the Bible, right? Because these devices, we're carrying is a big distractor. And if you don't know how to use it, it actually destroy your life. And for me, that has been one of the things that I've learned in the inner cycle, controlling devices. You said you cannot litter your house with devices everywhere. I still remember you said so. And because, so I began to be more conscious about controlling the devices my children use. Of course, in the UK here, they go to school, they come back, you need to be able to call them and all that. So they have mobile phone. But at least there are controls in the system. You know what you can knock off, can put age restriction and all that, because oh my God, talking about devices, internet and all that is a different story altogether. Many lives have been ruined by children, because even for adults, it could be addictive. How much more children? I mean, for me, I wouldn't have given them the handset. If not that, at least I need to just be able to communicate with them. But I've now been more conscious to now control what they have access to, the age and all that. So there's a lot to learn, that, like going back to the personal discipline you talk about, and you said, you cannot catch me scrolling. I don't know which particular webinar you said, but you said it. I said, oh my God, I said, this woman is disciplined, right? I mean, because if you are not, you cannot deliver the result that you're delivering, right? going back to my first C of developing personal competence and capacity as parents. I mean, if you're scrolling, your children are seeing you, they will pick it up.
Yeah.
See, you don't need to teach these things. They just pick it up. They
Yeah.
see it. They model, okay, daddy. And of course, I've trained my children to be vocal. They say, daddy, you're on your phone now. Why would you say I should not be on my phone? I say, okay, sorry, I was watching something. I will show them, look at, this is what I'm listening to. Not that I'm on
Mm.
social media, right?
Mm.
So these are the things you pick up in the inner. It could just be one thing. Somebody can speak
Yeah.
for 1 hour, but if you're able to pick one or two things and implement, that changes your life altogether, right?
Yes. Yes. Mm. Awesome. 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 When you're a yada indeed, it's not just about remembering the webinars. It's about picking the word and running with them.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're a yada indeed. I mean, you are in a place, right? You actually remember a word. In fact, when Dr. Titus was saying, you can't catch me scrolling, as in, it's something that I said in a webinar. I remember it was time management webinar,
Yeah.
and I say all the time that most times we kill our time, right? We kill our time without even knowing that that's what we're doing. And, like I often say, the day you drop this thing, pick up the Bible, your life will change. I say it all the time, all the time. So one of the things you learn in the inner circle is, I was going to ask him, what are the profound things in the inner circle system? He has already shared it, right? Consistency. Well, we're consistent. We've been consistent in the inner circle. This will be the 6th year running, non-stop, right? We have been consistent with the things. If anything, we have even improved in our consistency. Next year, we're even going to do better with what it is that we give, because that is the thing. That's how you are actually able to deliver. A lot of people say, how are you able to deliver? How are you able to be consistent on it? You just need to be disciplined enough to tell yourself that this is what I need. In this season of my life, I need to do it. And if it's one thing you learn in the inner circle and run with, like Dr. Titus said, it changes your life. It changes your life. You can, throughout the year, pick one thing, and that will be something that will change how it is that you. In fact, I usually say that being in the inner circle, even if you don't do anything, you are just watching, your life will change. I've said that many times. Even if you don't have the time, hey, you can't do this, or you can't do all the tools, and you are watching and you're listening and you're looking at the conversations, your life will never remain the same. Thank you so much for joining us today. You are listening to Dr.
Right.
Titus Udom, and he is streaming live all the way from United Kingdom. He's a father of 3 teenagers, 17, 15, 13, and of course, he's been parenting his children, and he's in a circle with his wife. But of course, I love that he's doing this. I love when the other fathers actually take the bull. This guy, it is my thing. Can you see the way that he has been able to own the process of parenting himself? I'm not talking about what my wife is doing or what my wife is doing. Did you hear him say, oh, my wife will not be the one to now go? No, 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 no. He said, this is my thing. And that's how I love it. The other fathers are so, so, so awesome. Sir, you are someone who, have teenagers that you're raising. There are some people who are listening to us now and thinking, okay, this thing, why must I learn? Why do I need to learn? Me too. I have teenagers, my children have grown. I don't think I need anything to, I'm not, it's not really my thing. I can just be, picking things here and there. What's your advice for men, especially, who are listening to you in this moment, who can see your journey, or who have heard what it is that you've shared, and who are still in doubt whether this is for them or not? Over to you, sir.
So Wendy, it's bad if you have made a mistake in any
Mm,
area, especially in parenting. But it's worse if you remain in that mistake. Every day I'm somehow worried. So I believe I don't have time again. My daughter is 17. Very soon she's going to be an adult and she will leave my house, right?
mm,
So whatever I have not taught her now is like, when am I going to do it again? So I don't have time. I need to do all that I can. Look at it now. 13, 15, and 17. At 18 in this country, I mean, she be an adult, she take some decisions. So I feel that I need to pump in as much as I can into these children for the period that they are with me. Because by the time they go to the university, it's all gone. You know, maybe once in a while you visit them, you call on phone, there's limited interaction. It's going to be limited. So I want to advise parents, the time you have with your children now, make the best out of it. Because this time you're not going to get it again. When they go out, they are gone, you know. And some people feel, my child left the house, they're not connecting again. No, because they were just waiting for the time to leave the house. They were not happy in the house while they were with you. So I want it such that even by the time they go, they will still be longing to come back to enjoy those times we had together. So when they check their phones, they will look at the pictures we took together, the videos, we went out together, and those memories will live on. And as they grow old, they will not forget you. My child has forgotten. No, but when the child was with you, did they actually enjoy your company? Or like I said, were you just an ATM to them and then you spend the money and that goes? So knowledge is key. Because even for me, there are a lot of things that I'm still learning. As far as you are alive, keep on learning. And learning has been democratized now. You don't need to go and sit in the university for 4 years to learn. There are free resources everywhere on the internet, even on the intentional parenting, even if it's the Tuesday live that is free for everybody. Yes, there's a lot of things that are being shared. I started watching the yesterday 13 skills your children must learn before they turn 13. I've not, yeah, I've not finished, listening to it. But one of the first things you talk about self-awareness, because that's the first rule in life. Man, know thyself. If you don't know yourself, you don't know your weakness, you don't know your inclination, you're going to struggle all through life. Do you understand?
Truly.
I remember, I know our time is going. Those days in the university, I'll pack up books in the night to go and read. I go and be sleeping in the class because I didn't know myself that I'm not a night reader. You understand? So that self-awareness is key. There are many other skills. I'm sure you talk about communication, finance, problem solving, and the rest. So I am still learning, even though I have teenagers and all that. And of course, parenting continues. The difference is by the time the children get out, they are becoming adult. That will be another strategy also to keep on being their mentor and providing guidance. So what will I say, parents? Please join the inner circle. Admission for 2026 is open. Please, you're going to get value for your money. I can tell you from my own experience, right?
Thank you so much, Dr. Titus Udom. You've heard it all. Join the inner circle. I can tell you from my own experience that this will be profitable for you. It is bad to make mistakes. It is worse if you decide to remain in your mistake. That would be one of our biggest takeaway today. I'm going to let Dr. Titus Udom go so that he can continue with the rest of his activities for the day. We are honored to have you here, sir. We are so, so grateful. Of course, you know that I honor you. I love you. Thank you for being here. I don't take your time for granted at all. This session has been very mind-blowing, even for me. There have been a lot of things that I've learned in this session that have actually put a whole lot in perspective even for me. Thank you again, sir. God bless you.
Yeah, so Wendy, it's a great privilege for me to be here. I see it as a responsibility for me to share what I've learned in the inner cycle with other parents because I've learned a lot. It has impacted my business, my relationship, especially the relationship with my children, with my wife. In fact, all areas, my spirituality, my finance, everything has been impacted. So TIP is not just a parenting academy. I keep saying this. is more of a personal development academy. So I cannot overemphasize it. I don't want to preach too much. Just come and see for yourself. If you don't get value, I'm sure Wendy will return your money. So yeah, you definitely get value, you know.
Yeah.
So thanks
Thank
so
you.
much. It's my yeah. Thanks so
Yeah.
much. I've received personal challenge from what you have done, and I know God will continue to keep you to impact parents globally. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you so much. You just heard Dr. Titus Udom. And that profound quote, he says it's bad to make mistake. It is worse if you decide to remain in your mistake. Come on now. That's what it is that you should be taking away today. After my intentional parenting, who caught the 5 F's, the 4 F's that Dr. Titus said he works with? Faith, fitness, finance, and family. That's his core. And he said that that's where he anchors his life on. And he said something in the ending part. He said, inner circle has affected every area of my life. My finances, my parenting, my marriage, my business, and like every other. He says inner circle should not be inner circle, it's not just for parenting, it's for personal development. Your life just transforms. And this is Dr. Titus Osdom, who is just a first time yarder. This is first time being in the yard. So whether you are coming in newly, you've been here for a while, the inner circle gives you same experience of transformation. Your transformation will be different. I'm sure that if you experience the inner circle, it won't be like what Dr. Titus has experienced. Trust me, that's what transformation is about. And he said, even my spiritual life has changed. I said to someone this morning, he said, if you join the inner circle program, you will think you've been joking as a Christian or even as a Muslim, whichever one that you actually go to, because you will see raw, things that will actually make you to begin to grow yourself, right? You begin to grow yourself. Is it that you're on the side where you are not very conscious of your health? Even in the inner circle, you're going to hear it. You will hear so many things that will change your life. You hear it from me, you hear it from other facilitators, you will hear it from others, which is actually the most important part, right? You will hear a lot of things that will transform your life, right? There is a discount ongoing. You get to actually book a slot. Book your slot today. Inner circle, next cohort. Somebody was just asking me on my DM, when is the next cohort starting? I said, we already started registration. Next cohort starts on the 1st of December. You hear yadas. They don't look like they're going anywhere, right? So if no yada is going anywhere, it means that the slots are heavily, very thin, because we already have cohort 1A to Z. And the yadas you hear, do not hear like most yadas return back. So if you already have those slots gone, and if you don't book your slot now, you might actually, have the risk of not getting into the inner cycle this year. Because no, the slots are not unlimited. No. They are not unlimited, right? So there's so much, in the inner circle, and you need to actually get your slot now. The good thing is, if you book your slot now, you will be able to actually still be in the window of 120,000 for a single parent and 200,000 for a couple. Dr. Titus pays with his wife. He's a couple, he has a couple slot. So you can book for a couple slot, which is 20,000 naira. It means you will pay the balance of 180,000 naira before November, because we want to actually ensure that you are onboarded and seated and done, properly. And then for single, it's 120,000 naira complete fee. You can pay the whole fee and just, get onboarded and start throttling. Or you can book with 10,000 naira and pay, you can break it, provided your payment is complete before we go live on the 1st of December. No, don't put us under any kind of pressure. Please ensure your payment is completed before the end of, November, right? By the time it's 28th of November, all payments would have actually been seized. But the good news is, if you book now, you are not going to get into the rush, right? or you're not also going to be affected by the increment that is happening soon. So this is what you need today. So I remember a Yada, I tell you this story. This Yada had been in the inner circle for a while, and then he got in, or she got in, and then, felt, let me just do, after doing 1 year, let me just go and try another academy. A foreign academy, maybe there's something coach is not saying that, I can learn and all of that. And then she goes and she pays $2,000 for the year. And then she came back, she sent me receipts. That's how I know. And then she came back after 1 year and said, we only had 2 classes in the year. The rest was, just, in fact, there were no tools, there was nothing to actually pick. Just, you were expected to just pick up and just run. And she said, I want to give you money, coach. This year, I'm registering with 120,000, but I don't want to pay 120,000. She paid ₦1 million just so that she said, I need to actually bail out my conscience that I'm not underpaying you. It pained me. The truth of the matter is, if you really understand the value of what it is that you're doing, I even remember that money was 998,000, blah, 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 of that nature. It was very funny to me. I said, coach, please don't say this is what I'm paying. This is what I want to pay. Because I feel I have shortchanged you over the years. So don't even think that what it is that you're getting is, this thing I'm getting, are you sure this 120? No. 120,000 naira is a joke compared to what you get. Do the math. You pay 360 something naira every day. Nobody will give you that. Nobody is going to give you that. I work in the industry. I'm connected with many of the industry players all over the world. All over the world. I'm connected. So I know how it works. I know what it is that is there. So you are getting into this academy literally free. Trust me when I say so. Trust me when I say so. Because there's so much for you to glean. Where do you see 52 master classes in a parenting academy? Solid. Where do you see a daily voice note every day? Solid. Where do you see connection tools? Dr. Titus said that one of the biggest things that he has in the inner circle is community connection tools. Connection tools will change your life literally. Where do you see that? We take our time. We create a curriculum that transforms. Scratch that. We take our time. The Holy Spirit creates a curriculum that you need, and we execute it through us. That's our job. That's what we do. We're just executors. Because I usually say that the curriculum that your life will need to change is not curated by you. No, you have no right over it. It's not curated by you. It's created by God, and it's passed through a teaching priest. I am that teaching priest. Don't get it twisted. I know who I am. I know what it is that I'm called to do. I know what it is that I stand for. I know what it is that God has sent me to do for my generation. And so if you're listening to me and you're still thinking, I don't know, they just want to collect my money. Which money? What are you talking about? There are others who, when there are things happening and, you just look left and right and you see proper money. Let me not say anything. Let's leave it like that. But when I say proper money, you get it. So it is not just about, you're coming to come and pay. It's bigger than that. It affects your business, everything. So somebody reached out to me and said, I don't really have money. I said, borrow money and get into the inner circle. Yes, I study with my full chest. And that will be the last money you will ever have to borrow in your life if you follow. That will be the last fund. I say it all the time. I was talking about it the other day, and Mo Snack saw my DP, and she said, I am one of the people who borrowed to get into the academy. Today, I'm a millionaire. Come on now. We actually transcend into raising people who actually become. It's not just coming to do with plantain chips. So that's how we make millions. We can make millions with anything with plating of hair. I've seen Yadas do miracles, man. And how do you do miracle? Miracle is divine interruptions. It's not an end to a method. There's something that you have to do. Yesterday at the Tuesday live, I was sharing about the life of Joseph, and many times we actually, scream and say, oh, Joseph obtained favor. Joseph engineered favor. They're two different things. He engineered it. There was something that he learned, that he knew, that positioned him. He negotiated his way to the top. Go and read that scripture again. He did. There was something he knew that actually made him stand out. Not just his skill. Joseph had a skill. And yet, Joseph needed to negotiate his way out of this prison. If he didn't, he would have died in the prison. And even when he got to Pharaoh to interpret the dream, he presented his own CV and said, there's a man, such a man as this. There was no man like that. He was describing himself. If you understand how it is that it works, when it comes to actually engineering your life, trust me, like what Dr. Titus said about finances, you can't, it's not about just having, money or just, learning. There's something to do. There's something you will learn that will exempt you. Trust me. I'm currently, finishing touches for my book, Parenting Lessons from the Bible. Who is ready for our 6-in-1 flash sale? It's happening on the 6th of October. We're going to, begin to share. The others don't need to get into those links. We're going to share about the 6-in-1 pre-order. And then, I was writing something about, parenting lessons in the Bible. And I was having a conversation with a team member, and I said, what I'm writing is what nobody has written. You haven't read it before. I'm talking about insight from heaven itself, from the throne. No, you haven't. You haven't read it. We haven't read it. I'm writing parenting lessons that are deep, that would tear down veils. That's how my books sound. That's how they are. You read them, you get transformed instantly. And then the inner circle, you don't even just read them. You review, you implement. You review, you implement. That's how it works. And yesterday I was, on Tuesday, like somebody said, oh, will you buy books? I said, you will buy books, you buy puzzles, you buy, Major Hair will sell you puzzles if you're in the UK. We have relics. We have everything in the yard. People who can get you, find you resources. These are the things that change your life. These are the things that change your life. I'm talking about real insight. I'm talking about real heavenly things. How did we learn to do some of the things that we do? Insight from heaven. Insight from heaven. Because this is what it is that we are called to do. Take it or leave it. This is one place that you need. And if you're hearing me, it's because you need it. Yes. If you're hearing me, it's because you need it. And because you need it, you need to dive in now so that you don't have regret. It was Christiana Aliofre, the microfinance empress, that said to me, I wish I knew the things that I knew now. I wish when I saw you, I just jumped into the inner circle. If you want, listen to me and jump in 2 years later. You are doing yourself a disservice because you regret the years you didn't get in. And trust me, like Dr. Titus said, time is going by the day. And like I often say, your children's growth will never wait for you. It will never wait for you. Inner circle will change your life. As in, change your life literally. Change your life. The books you read are not like the normal books you pick on the street. No, I'm not talking about books that you read and say, God, pray to God and God will help you parent your children. No, I'm talking about practical steps. I still, a parent bought this book. After reading this book, she came and booked a session with me. And she said, I've never seen a parenting book that walks you through in practical terms what to do, the tools, the insights, everything. And in the inner circle, we don't just leave you aloof. We actually create systems that help you. What are you waiting for? You wait for us to actually do the 90 days. By the time we are done, 90 days, hey, and we will all be done, Abby. And then December 1st will come. You start running kitty. We don't open the door. The moment this door is closed, it's closed for the next 1 year. And it's not pride. It is that, it's not about just your money. It's about the process that is required. No, it's not pride. I won't collect your money 2nd of December. No, we will not. You keep it and join us next year. So if you run kitty and come, on this, Coach, I just missed, there's something that happened to me. You wait a whole year. There are people that have been on the wait list for 1 year. And it's not because we are too proud to collect your money like some people feel or think. It's because I would rather not take your money than watch you pay and not get transformed. So my idea is transformation. It's not just about what you pay. That is our job. That is our job. So yes, every year you actually get to renew and you actually get to learn. And there is something about here that changes your life. There is something about here that changes your life. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. There's a reason that you are here. The inner circle is a game changer for you. Don't forget, you can book a slot or you can, pay in full. The details are on my screen. You can reach us out on the number that is right on my screen. And remember to actually share with your family and your friends. We're sharing the My Intentional Parenting Journey because we want you to be able to connect and share with people around you. It's been an amazing, amazing time this morning. I have particularly had an awesome time. I need to get back to what it is that we're doing for the rest of the day. I look forward to having you in the yard. I look forward to the new curriculum. We are rebuilding the curriculum totally. Our journals are changing, everything. Well, it's a new season. God has given us access to a totally new season. And I'm sure that by the time you get in that season, you will see a shift. Those who have been in the inner circle for 6 years, we know that this is not the Wendiology they met 6 years ago. How can? If you meet me where you are, where I am this year, then I failed. That's my mantra. If you meet me where I am this year, I have failed. I will fail God. I will fail you. I will fail the people that I'm called to. So the inner circle transcends on a daily basis. So please stay here. Be here. Dr. Aisha Murtala says, I refuse to leave the inner circle. You don't leave the ark. You don't leave the ark. You don't settle in comfort. I was sharing with Yadas about the young prophet who actually went on his way and God said, don't drink, don't stop, don't do anything. Don't settle in comfort. Don't feel that, you have arrived. There's no arrival on this journey. You keep going. And when that prophet sat with the older prophet to eat and drink, the Bible recorded that he died. May you not die because you have settled in comfort. Sometimes death that we're talking about is not physical. It is actually the place. It's actually a place of the mind. It's the place of the mind. Get into this place and your life will not remain the same. My name is Wendy Ulogi, and I'm called Africa's #1 parent coach. I'm the founder of the Intentional Parents Academy. It's been an awesome ride with you this morning. See you again. Don't forget, you can get our books. Somebody said they are chatting the UK distributor. I would just send us a chat and we'll send you a direct contact. You can get our books, start to read them. You will buy books. You will learn to actually transform your life by yourself. In conclusion, no one is coming to save you. Nobody, no father, not even God is coming to save you. You will need to pick up your bed and move. In the Bible, the man by the pool of Bethesda, you will think that Jesus will give all of the comfort and all of the compassion when he said he didn't have a man. But the next thing that the Lord of the world will say is pick up your bed and move. And that's what I'm telling you this morning. Pick up your bed and move. See you again and do have an amazing, amazing day.
Common phrases in the inner circle. Let's go.
You're coming for an inner circle webinar and you're not with your yellow blanket with red trimmings. Is that even a joke?
Oh, I'm running and I'm not looking back because 10,000 lions are chasing me. I have watched all the webinars, but today, Coach came with a bazooka.
Even with my humility agbada, I still collected.
If you're not in the ark, you better enter now because flood na bia o.
In the inner circle, we dey walk and they show.
CIP police is coming for you. There is no need here.
You definitely cannot relate because you are not in the yard.
If you are not in the yard,
why not?